Good morning, all of you, my dear friends from the world of Rotary International. Shri Shekhar Mehta ji, our incoming president of the Rotary International for the whole world, past presidents of Rotary International, Shri Raja Sabu ji, and I have been told that Shri Kalyan Banerjee ji is also here. And there are so many past RI directors here, so many senior leaders of the Rotary International. I wish I could name all of you, but we have the limitations of time. And I have to particularly thank Ranjan Dhingra ji, our dear friend from Delhi, one of the past district governors who was instrumental in getting this meeting organized. So thank you all of you. And I must congratulate Shekhar ji, your team all over the country for having done a great job. You just now elaborated in detail that, and I remember you had spoken to me 2-3 times during this COVID-19 outbreak during the course of the last 2-3 months. And you were over ambitious to work out things which will help the country. And now you have yourself told us that Rotarians have been able to, as a modest beginning, donate 26 crores to the PM Cares Fund. You have been helping the country through various other means, whether it is through donating the PPEs or the N95 masks or the equipments for hospitals or the food packets or the sanitizers, etc., etc. And there too you have told us that equipment and other things worth 75 crores have been organized with the help of Rotary International. And it is, I think, a great feeling to be with all of you today. You all know that I have a very fond association with all of you because of the support that I received from Rotary International right from the day one when I entered my public life some 27 years back. And Rotary was one of the major organizations which helped me in carrying out the successful implementation of the Pulse Polio program in Delhi, as was rightly remembered by Shri Raja Sabu ji on 2nd of October 1994. We all worked together. And when we could show it to the rest of the country that we can do it in Delhi, then only it could become a national program in 1995. And when we could do it in India, then only many of the countries in the Southeast Asia region joined the Pulse Polio program. And also, we could get a trigger for the Kick Polio out of Africa under the leadership of Shri Nelson Mandela ji there. And today we are so happy, so contented, and I think that the feeling of satisfaction and pleasure cannot be described in words. Because in a country which was home to 60% of the polio cases of the whole world, and when we used to say that we want to immunize every child, we want to bring every child to a polio kendra on a single day at the same time, many people in this country used to mock at us. I have sufficient instances in my life during that 94, when people used to think that this is something which is impossible to do, it's a Herculean task. and they are talking about theoretical things. How can you bring all the children to the polio kendra at the same time? And we used to fight with the society and the system with only one conviction, that if you can provide ballot paper to this country, you can also provide 2 drops of polio vaccine at minus 20 degrees centigrade to every child. And we could ultimately do it. Today, when we talk to each other in 2020, we know that we haven't seen a case of polio affected child in this country for over 9 years now. The last case that we saw in India was Shekharji in your own state, West Bengal, where you live, and that was in Havla on 13th of January 2011. And I had the privilege to, in March 2014, we got the eradication certificate from WHO. And when I joined this ministry in 2014, the country representative of WHO, Dr. Nata, had come to my office and she gave me that certificate. I was so happy to actually receive that on behalf of all of you and the whole country. But that's what I was trying to recall with nostalgia, that this association with Rotary has been a God-sent friendship, because you all have been contributing a lot for the various activities in the field of health. And in Delhi, I used to work for education also as education minister. In recent past, I have been, and even now with science and technology, and for over 2 years I was in environment. All through I have had the contribution of Rotarians in some way or the other, whether it was for green good deeds in environment or for various other activities. Today also I have to congratulate you and compliment all of you, and through you all the Rotarians all over the world, that you have also risen to the occasion. You are standing with the governments and you are working for the society and trying to help the cause of mitigation of COVID-19, not only in India but all across the world. You know, we are in the midst of a very troubled times. COVID-19 has come as a big surprise and a shock to the whole world. And probably none of us has ever, we have read about the pandemics in the last century, in the early part of the last century. But since the time I was born, and I have been working in the field of health for over 4 or 5 decades now in various capacities, I have never imagined that we would ever in my life witness or experience or get the privilege to handle a pandemic like this. So it's a big challenge. But being a challenge, it's an opportunity for all of us also to look at where we are and to reorganize ourselves and be prepared for even the worst. And that is the spirit and the strategy with which the government has been working very hard day in and day out. You shall feel very happy and have a sense of pride in the fact that India is the first country in the whole world to have reacted immediately to the news of a coronavirus in China, which was reported to the World Health Organization on 7th of January. And I distinctly remember that in my ministry where I am sitting right now, the Nirman Bhavan, within less than 24 hours of hearing about this news, We had organized our first meeting of the experts. There is a group of technical experts where all the experts meet regularly. They discuss about the various diseases, the disease outbreaks, and the strategies. And in that meeting on 8th of January, we had started our preparations. And then there is history of last 3 months. In a couple of minutes, I will certainly love to share some of the salient features of the last journey of the last 3 months with you on a small slide presentation. But right now, my only message to all of you and through you to every countryman, and that is the message that we have been trying to communicate through all possible means, is that it is not a very big rocket science to keep yourself and the society protected from COVID-19. The precautions that you need to take are very minimal and very trivial on the face of it. There is nothing new about washing hands. There is nothing new about not taking your dirty hands to your mouth or nose or eyes. There is nothing very big in maintaining a physical or a so-called social distance with the others. And right now, the biggest thing that we have to do is the simplest thing, that is to stay at home and to maintain physical distancing at home, and to make sure that we not only practice this in the right way, but also preach it to the other people and see that the others are also, and especially those who are less educated or maybe less experienced, to ensure that there is a huge societal movement to honor the spirit of lockdown and to honor the guidelines about social distancing and other personal hygiene and respiratory etiquettes, etc. This is all about keeping yourself away from COVID-19. I have said it time and again that our scientists are already working on developing a vaccine. The whole world is working in that direction. We are already one of the 5 countries in the whole world where we have isolated the virus in CSIR, like we used to do for the polio virus during the FAG years of the polio eradication movement. We used to do the genetic sequencing of the polio virus also to establish the travel history of the virus. We used to search for cases of acute flaccid paralysis in the society, and then we used to do a stool test about them. And then when there was a positive case of polio in the society, we used to immunize 1 to 5 million children around that case. And similarly, right now we are trying to not only do the genetic sequencing, we are trying to develop a vaccine. We are part of, our country is also doing it separately, but also we are part of the WHO Solidarity Trial. But I have said it time and again that the vaccine development is something which you can't do overnight. It will take some time. It may take 1 year, it may take more than that. If we are very lucky, we may get it in months. But that is certainly a long wait, and certainly a significant wait in terms of the way the disease is trying to disturb the whole world. So right now the biggest weapon with us, which I have named as a social vaccine, it may not be an individual vaccine which protects one person, but there is a social vaccine, and that is social distancing and of course lockdown. Both these things combined together could prove to be the most potent social vaccine right now in the most troubled times. And we all educated people and committed people have to appreciate this. And there has been tremendous support from the Prime Minister and his team. He has been also helping and guiding the health ministry right from the day one. He is himself leading from the front. He is monitoring things at his level also. He had the guts to declare a lockdown, as you also rightly said, that for a country of 1.35 billion, to take a decision of locking it down for 40 days, it's not a small decision. You know how much of talk is about the impact on economy and many other related issues, but there also the government has taken enough care of simultaneously handling the economic issues, simultaneously trying to help the poor people, simultaneously strengthening the health budget, etc., etc. And as we have seen the Prime Minister over the years, so even if it is a tough decision which people may not like immediately, he doesn't wait for a moment to take that decision if it is in the larger interest of the society and the people. So that is the type of support that we got from the Prime Minister, and we in the Health Ministry are extremely grateful to him to have taken the advice of all the health professionals, our scientists, our experts, and then act in a manner which would bring India in the forefront of the war against COVID-19. Today, India's efforts are not being lauded in India only, but they are being lauded all across the world. And on record, on number of occasions, the World Health Organization has appreciated India's efforts. I have been, through video conference, I have been connecting with the health ministers of the whole world, with the health ministers of the Southeast Asia region, and of course individually also with some health ministers. Everybody, and these meetings have been organized with the help of WHO. Everybody has on record appreciated WHO, India's efforts. Day before only I had participated in G20 health ministers meeting also. So well, the point that I want to make is that we did not wait even a single minute to decide and finalize our response to the news of this outbreak in China. And we have been adopting a proactive and preemptive strategy on COVID-19 management. Right now we are in a situation where we know exactly where our enemy is in the whole country. We know the districts and we know the places where we have to concentrate, and with the help of the intense or the very robust integrated disease surveillance program that India has, and with our very professional bodies like National Center for Disease Control in New Delhi, with our surveillance officers all over the country, and with the support of all the states in a committed manner, and with continuous coordination between the Prime Minister and the Chief Ministers, the Health Minister and the Health Ministers of the states, and at the level of the various officials, and with our rapid response teams, and of course the societal and the philanthropic organizations like you. We are now in a very, you can say, established stage. No doubt new cases are emerging because this is something which infects very fast. But you must have noticed that our doubling rate has improved quite a bit in the from the time when we were in March to the time then when we are in April now. And most of our states, many of our states, some 18 to 20 states in the country right now have a far better doubling rate than our national average, though our national average is far better than what it was 1 month back. So, and in terms of our number of cases and in terms of the number of unfortunate deaths that we had, we are probably the best in the whole world in terms of statistics also, but we don't want to get into these statistics. But we are hopeful that with continuous support from the society and with our, you can say, we have been very meticulously watching the developments in these hotspots. We have classified the whole country into hotspot districts and non-hotspot districts, and the districts which have never had a case of COVID in the last 3 months. And there is a very strong differential strategy for all these places, which is being worked out and which is being implemented with very fine observation from the government at multiple levels. So that's, I think, a brief of what we are, and I am quite confident that the way the people of India have been cooperating, whether it is for the lockdown, whether it was for the Janta curfew, or whether it has been at different times in the past, you all have seen how a country as big as India could eradicate polio. Those who remember their childhood days will remember how we could eradicate smallpox. And I remember having handled Ebola in 2014 in this health ministry itself. We never allowed Ebola to enter our country. Last year itself we had Nipah outbreak in Kerala, and we did not allow Nipah to come out of Kerala and in fact disturb the rest of the country. I myself remember, and most of the Rotarians who belong to the district 3010, that is the district which used to be having Delhi in 1994, they will all remember that in the midst of the polio preparations, we had plague in Delhi and also in Surat. And we could handle that plague also, and we could successfully implement the pulse polio also in October 94. So that all this speaks volumes about the ability of India and its potential and what we have done in the past. And that is why I am very confident that India should be able to overcome this crisis right now in the not too distant future. And we should be able to set an example. And then, although I do not anticipate very worst times, but I can assure you that we have made preparations for even the most worst times, whether it is for creating COVID care centers, COVID hospitals all over the country, for dedicated ICU beds, or for dedicated ventilators, or for exclusive and enormous supplies of PPEs, N95s, or for the various drugs that might be required, whether it is hydroxychloroquine, which is being talked about now. So there are enough preparations. We are ready to face the worst, but we do not want that worst to come, and we are proactively handling the present situation. So with these few words, I would now, for another 5-10 minutes, just show you very fast some of the slides which will give you an overall idea of what this preparation of COVID-19 meant for the country and for the health ministry and for the various other ministries.